Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Thursday, January 14th, 2016. Ra here in the Lynn-Life, Betty Jean in the Jamie Body Mind, other teammates in other dimensions, most of us in the subatomic, and most of us in the physical dimension. Although our issues with the oversoul criminal body snatchers continue, it's possible we're letting them monopolize the focus when we shouldn't. It's possible that we're supposed to simply walk around them when they're being this huge hazard on the course that they're being. So our working theory for this morning, and the videoed efforts of this morning being a part of that, are that we continue to do the work and just ignore these presences exactly as we ignore helpful dead people who show up and stand in between us and where we're headed. We're just going to ignore these people. We're just going to ignore these people and put our focus on our assignments and our deadlines. And with that, the videoed portions of today's efforts begin. It is very much like running cables, and the cables are intuitive channels. That's for true. The Search for Truth community. We know that. One way of thinking of the cable running is that it's like pulsing the clogs out of the channels. We know from case studies of students how the channels are clogged with untruths.
That's true.
And in the sessions, these jolts of lightning come through that unclog the channels. And if they just do enough sessions while intending to get their channels to go upward, the channels will start to come alive.
That's true.
And these cables we know are alive. It's a similar process of removing untruths from a space.
My attention is being drawn somewhere low in search for truth. It might be where Asha is right now.
Yes, she's in below sea level zone, if I have it right.
That's true.
Okay, Asha. What's up? What's going on, Asha? I think what Asha would like is some confirmation of what her assignment is.
That's true.
Our understanding of the assignment is that we must now widen the Search for Truth pillar through all these subatomic levels so that it is all as wide as the caverns that opened up in what we're now calling opening down, because the front door seems to be at the very base of the floor. It opens down. So those caverns opened up of their own accord when we extracted the strands of our own soul essence.
That's true.
And so we can't fill them in to match the rest of the pillar. That wouldn't make any sense. So therefore we must expand the rest of the pillar, because it's to be the same width all the way from the top down. It's allowable for the lower areas to be narrower than the upper areas, but it is not allowable for the lower areas to be wider than the upper areas.
That's true.
And she's saying, what do you base that on? And what she's referring to is an earlier teaching where we were told that in order for an energy body to be stable, that it needed to have a shape similar to a lighthouse or an Eiffel Tower, where it's slightly wider at the base. And that's an interesting point.
Oh, that is interesting.
She has a proposal. She says, just let me try this. And she wants to angle it up so that there's a gradual diminishing of the radius or diameter of the pillar.
As it gets higher.
Yes.
That's true.
What do I know? I know the idea is to have a place that is filled with light and clear of lies.
That's true.
And that the bigger spaces down below tend to be, by definition, are where the new people come in, because that's where the front door is.
That's true.
And therefore tend to be places where lies are coming in all the time.
Yes.
I also know, what do I know? I also know that the upper floors are where the lawbreakers and criminals just break in.
That's true.
And they're pumping untruths and lies into the upper floors, the upper zones.
That's true.
It's almost better to have the honest lies of the lower zone than these disgusting pretenses of we're very important and we're here to help you. Get out, you're lawbreakers. You're lawbreakers.
You're lawbreakers.
And we know that we've had multiple upper zones contaminated.
That's true, needing to be removed.
Completely removed.
That's true.
And bleached out, scrubbed out, take it down to bare concrete, start again.
Start over.
So I could go with Asha's theory as a trial run. Let's experiment. I have an attitude of curiosity toward
That's
it.
True.
Let's see
I
how
actually
it goes.
don't know how it's going to go.
I don't know. Let's do it. Cosa is saying it isn't going to work because, and then something. She's pointing to what looks like a map, or if I lean a different way, it looks like a mathematical formula. And if I look another way, I can see it as a recipe. And she's saying, it says straight down, that the sides must go straight down. Hang plumb lines to be sure the sides go straight down. She says, this message has come in so many times.
Over and over.
And that is true. There's just no way that it's incorrect.
That's true.
It's come in through so many different channels, through so many different situations. That is far more current and therefore far more relevant an instruction than the previous instruction of the Eiffel Tower base. And
that's true.
And Asha is agreeing. She's saying, oh yes, I have to go way back into the files to pull out.
Flip through all the papers.
Yes, maybe several years.
That's true.
Got it. Okay. All right, let's stick with the straight down rules. Straight down. These sides go straight down. And what we have found works best is to use the work chants to get the nature realms crews engaged with the machine crews and get everyone just going like in a wave in a stadium, and then just scour it up. Vroom, 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 vroom. That seems to be the quickest way to get a straight pillar with straight sides filled with light.
That's true. Plus, it occurs to me, if we went with that shape where it's wider at the bottom than at the top, the people in the wide parts of the bottom wouldn't be able to see probe.
What we have is a combination of instructions that are valid and coming from those way up high, these concentrations, highest concentrations of truth and integrity that we can connect with, opening up higher, 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 until we finally have one of them who's an adult and way up high. And who can see our situation and is intending to be helpful. But that there is also an avalanche of input from presences who don't have those levels of integrity.
That's true.
And can't really tell what truth is. Some of them have good intentions, or they have good hearts, but their intentions are warped by laziness or cowardice or lack of integrity on their parts, and
that's true.
Egotism and selfishness.
That's true.
Etc. Okay, I think that Asha agrees with Cosa. I think we have agreement in the community that
true.
Just widen this pillar straight up, and until it's widened, we cannot dig down any farther, because that would be kicking up lies in that big space that then would have to get out through the narrow, kind of like chimney.
That's true.
And the narrow chimney is already clogged with lawbreakers, criminals from above.
That's true.
So that would be like putting a stopper in a chimney, and then carbon monoxide would fill the home. So that would be a poisonous situation. We don't need that.
No.
I see. And widening the chimney will make it harder for these oversouls to be a cork in the bottle.
That's true.
What matters most? Survival of the truth.
What covers truth? Stinky lies! Let's get them out of here!
What matters most? The needs of the greater good.
What covers the needs of the greater good? The needs of individuals and groups. Let's rise above this! It's really noticeable how nature realms presences respond to work chants.
Yes, it works for them.
That's true.
And they're so likable that their enthusiasm is contagious, and the machines like to work with the nature realm's presences when the nature realm's presences aren't being bigoted.
That's true.
And we see how none of us like to work with people who are bigoted against me and people like me.
That's true.
Of course, by definition. And the wider and wider our definitions of self become, the more we don't like to work with people who are bigoted against anyone.
That's true.
Cosa is talking. Let's see if we can hear what she has to say. It's about broken links, broken connections, things that are broken. What do I know? I know that Cosa is tackling the challenge of bridging the gap across that contaminated zone. And so it's possible she's talking about breaks in the cabling. It's possible when we said, okay, this whole zone just is contaminated and needs to go, it's possible that we disrupted the cabling.
Oh, that makes sense.
It does. Okay, let's intend to heal it by running the cables lovingly and speaking to each of them as they're going downward to say, and when you round the pulleys, come on up and get all the way to probe. And when they're going up, to say, now all the way to probe. And when you round probe, then come down.
That's
all
true.
the way down to where picked is.
That's true.
Boom, boom, boom. Cosa is saying someone is needed to bridge the gap right here, and she's pointing to a spot. Maybe
What about
Black Wolf.
maybe Black Wolf?
What were you going to say?
Maybe Glenn.
Maybe Glenn. Maybe Black Wolf and Glenn.
Maybe Black Wolf
Black Wolf
and Glenn.
and Glenn. There we
That's
go.
good.
Black Wolf and Glenn working together in that narrow spot. I see what Cosa means. It looks like the narrow part of an hourglass.
That's true.
And so to have Black Wolf and Glenn back to back, running cables right there, that would be win, win, win.
That's true.
They would get a chance to work through whatever their issues are.
Yeah.
And they would both get a chance to practice cable running with absolutely nothing to distract them from that, unless they get into a fist fight.
Right.
Can you see it from Glenn's eyes?
Yes. He still doesn't quite understand what Black Wolf's problem is with him.
Black Wolf doesn't like working with undependable people. He says you can get killed working with undependable people.
Yeah, Glenn doesn't feel like he's arguing that. I feel nodding.
Black Wolf says Glenn is a likable guy, but he's not dependable.
Yeah, Glenn's nodding.
What Black Wolf is saying that might be helpful for Glenn to hear is that having an intention to be dependable is like having an intention to be a person of integrity. And until that intention is there, Glenn isn't going to change on this. Glenn intends a lot of things that are positive and helpful, but he doesn't actually intend to be dependable, and his actions prove that, because over and over again he doesn't fulfill the assignment that he has, quote, committed, unquote, to fulfilling. So he obviously doesn't intend to be a person that we can count on.
That's true.
And so that's what Black Wolf is saying, is like there's this foundational flaw in Glenn, is that he doesn't actually intend to be dependable. I don't know whether or not that's true, but that's what Black Wolf is saying, and now Glenn can chew on that for a while.
Yeah.
I see, and Black Wolf was saying defendable and dependable, and he was saying, Glenn, it's not defendable to not be dependable. I get it.
I get it.
I can see the broken thing inside of Glenn. It's broken, just like the broken spot in the cables that Cosa was pointing to for the Search for Truth pillar. I can see the disconnect, where this person of what I think most of us would call extreme integrity actually has an indefensible pattern of undependability.
That's true.
There's the disconnect, Glenn, right there. Now look, you're going to have to do that, but look, See if you can put your finger right where I am. Right there.
There.
There. That's it. That's the disconnect. Okay, you have your work cut out for you, but don't stop running cables because you accepted the assignment to run cables. And can you see how you almost walked away from the cable running to go mend this?
Yes.
Boom, boom, boom.